Hi, I'm CK.
And I'm Jonah. Today we're going to be talking about the phenomenon of Savant Syndrome.
So Savant Syndrome is a condition in which someone with a mental disability demonstrates profound abilities far in excess of what would be considered normal. For today's show, we will introduce several examples of this condition and hopefully understand the psychological aspects behind the condition.
Examples of these unique individuals include a man who can draw an entire cityscape just from memory, and another man who can read 2 pages of a book at once and memorize entire novels in minutes. Our first example is a man by the name of Stephen Wiltshire. Wiltshire has what's called autism spectrum disorder. Now, people with this disorder experience ongoing social problems that include difficulty communicating with others, repetitive behaviors, and symptoms that hurt their ability to function socially.
We thought it would be interesting to see what happens in the brain of an individual affected by this disorder. In a brain affected by autism, the protein MECP2 dims the activity of many nerve cells that affect synapse formation and function. The absence of MECP2 causes dendrites, which are tree-like structures on the ends of neurons, to contain fewer spots for synapses to grow. In turn, these synapses do not function normally.
Asperger's syndrome and autistic disorder used to be separate disorders. However, the DSM-5 subcategorizes the two into autism spectrum disorder. This manual details the characteristics and severity of each symptom. With this being said, those previously diagnosed with autism or Asperger's would now be diagnosed with autism spectrum.
Now, growing up, Stephen Wiltshire was a mute. He was diagnosed with autism and attended a school for special needs children. At this school, he discovered a passion for drawing, first of animals, then London buses, then buildings and city landmarks. Throughout his early childhood, Stephen communicated primarily through his drawings, but he didn't learn how to speak until the age of 9.
Despite these disabilities, Stephen has a particularly striking talent. He can draw a very accurate and detailed landscape of a city after seeing it just once. After a brief helicopter ride over the city, Stephen drew a 10-meter-long panorama of Tokyo with accurate detail.
Wow, I sure do love accuracy.
Although art is Stephen's hobby and passion, he's managed to turn his work into a successful career.
Stephen's website features his sketches of cars, buses, and multiple skylines, similar to his Tokyo work.
You can check out his art at www.stephenwiltshire.com.
Our next example is Kim Peek. Peek has multiple talents revolving around his precise memory.
Now, Peek's talent gained recognition for inspiring the 1988 film Rain Man. However, his life did not start as well as expected. Peek was born with severe brain damage, and his doctor actually advised his father to leave him in an institution and forget about him. The doctor claimed that Peek would never be able to walk, let alone read. Kim's father disregarded this advice.
Well, Kim sure did prove the doctor wrong. Throughout his life, Kim read 12,000 books, remembering exact details from each one. Going by the nickname Kimputer, Kim is able to read 2 pages simultaneously, with his left eye reading 1 page and his right eye reading the other.
Now, the usual process of obtaining visual information occurs when the visual cortex of the brain, the occipital lobe, receives impulses from the cells of the retina, and the impulses then activate feature detectors of the eye. The occipital lobe has feature detectors for vertical lines, curves, motion, and many other image features. What we perceive is a combination of these features.
So this being said, Peek is an unusual talent since the right eye is supposed to capture visual information and send it to the left hemisphere of the brain, while the left eye captures visual information and sends it to the right side of the brain. As stated before, Peek is able to read information with his left eye and right eye, incorporating both hemispheres of the brain rather than just one.
Well, that's about all the time we have for today, folks. But before we wrap up today's show, we want to say thank you to all of our viewers out there for watching.
We hope the show was interesting and helped you gain an understanding of the psychological phenomenon of Savant Syndrome.
Thank you.